The Baltimore Ravens are not done yet. They are signing another kicker to bring in for competition against Tyler Loop after the release of Justin Tucker yesterday. They also cleared more cap space, so we're going to dive into some free agents at some positions of need still, mainly D-tackle, linebacker, and corner, all in this episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock. Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. First of all, thank you guys so much for the 8,000 subscribers. This channel is growing at light speed, man. I cannot believe what you guys are doing, and I'm so appreciative of it. It took me a year and a half to get to 5,000 subscribers. I've been grinding this channel for 2 years now, and this is my third season. So 3 off seasons, but it's been 2 regular years. And we hit 5K in January. So like at the end of last season, we hit 5K, and then we've been up 3,000 subscribers since then and have gained over 1,000 in the last week. So you guys are running this up, man. I'm so grateful for this. Let's keep building this thing. Let's get to 10K. I know over 75% of the people that watch the videos are not subscribed, YouTube tells me. So if you are watching the videos consistently and tune into this channel, please just hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps out so much. So I appreciate you guys. Shout out to 2 new members, James Green and CB. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going live tonight with Coach Evans around 7 Eastern. So hope to see a lot of you guys in there. But with all that out the way, let's dive into today's episode. The Ravens are planning to sign, according to Jeff Zarebek, kicker John Hoyland, who has been at rookie minicamp as well. He definitely hasn't been getting as much buzz, but the Ravens are about to sign him. They are expected to sign him. So it's going to be John Hoyland and Tyler Loop. I still think, obviously, Tyler Loop has a pretty big edge in that competition just because the Ravens drafted him. He's the first kicker that they've ever drafted. But we're signing another kicker in John Hoyland. If Tyler Loop struggles a little bit in the offseason and John Hoyland's making everything and absolutely blows him away, like, this is an open competition. The Ravens aren't going to go with Tyler Loop just because they drafted him. It's a 6th-round pick. You know, if they have a better kicker available, they're probably going to choose the better kicker. So I definitely think that there's a real competition here. I do think Tyler Loop has the advantage in this competition. I think it's his to lose, but that doesn't mean somebody can't win the kicking job that's not Tyler Loop. So I would keep my eyes on this competition throughout this offseason, throughout camp, and especially the preseason, because they're probably going to have both kickers kicking. If we only see one by then they've made their decision. But I would imagine that they're going to want to get some game looks at multiple kickers. So I think that this is a true competition leading up to this regular season, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. But a little bit of background on John Hoyland. He recently was at Wyoming and went 13 of 20 last year. And from what I can research, his longest field goal is 48 yards. So he definitely doesn't have the stats that Tyler Loop has. Tyler Loop has kicked a 62-yarder, and, you know, we've seen him kick some 75-yarders in warm-up. Doesn't mean that Hoyland doesn't have a leg. Maybe he just didn't get an opportunity. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I think there's a real competition here. And whoever wins the job, as long as we don't bring in a veteran kicker, if it's one of these guys, the Ravens are going to have a rookie kicker this season. And that is eerily similar to the first year of Justin Tucker's career when we had a rookie kicker in 2012 and went and won the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. Moving on to the salary cap, we got an update on how much the Ravens will be saving and have cleared overall. So Tucker is designated as a post-June 1st release. So we're saving 2.1 for Marcus Williams, 4.2 for Tucker, and then we got 1.255 million that we're saving from Pierce's retirement. Each of these are offset by $960,000 for their rule of 51 replacement. So the net cap space received is $4.675 million. So the Ravens cleared $4.675 million that they will receive after June 1st. So that's when I expect the Ravens to bring in another veteran or two at some positions of need. And I wanted to take a look at who's still available at some positions of need. So I would rank the main positions of need right now: veteran corner, outside corner most likely, inside linebacker vet, and then D tackle, like a bigger D tackle. You know, obviously the Ravens could go a little smaller if they're trying to change their philosophy a little bit, but I'm just thinking run stuffing, nose tackle, basically Michael Pierce, you know, and I know we drafted Peebles, but he's a little bit of a smaller D tackle who's going to be more of a pass rusher. And then we got some undrafted guys, definitely not writing them off, but after June 1st, the Ravens are known to bring in another veteran or two. So not writing, you know, Nash off or Jason Jones or any of the undrafted free agents that definitely have a chance to fill that role. I just think that the Ravens are going to go shopping a little bit for a value veteran at one of those positions of need. So I wanted to take a look at a few guys. So let's start with D tackle. Some of the bigger guys, they're a little older, but some of the bigger guys that kind of fit that description are John Jenkins. He's 35, so definitely a little bit older. He was recently on the Las Vegas Raiders last year. He's 6'3", 326 pounds. I think he could be that run stuffing, bigger D tackle that we're looking for. We also got Jonathan Hankins, 33 years old, 6'2", 320 pounds. And then Raekwon Davis is a name I haven't seen talked about too much, but he just recently got released. He's 6'7", 324 pounds. I think all the free agents that are remaining are going to be affordable. The Ravens have obviously just cleared a little bit of cap space. They can probably get two guys with the cap space that they just cleared. They also have around $10 million, it seems like, in remaining cap. I haven't seen a final cap number. There's a lot of moving pieces right now, but I'm going to say around $10 million in cap space. They're clearing more after June 1st. So the Ravens have a little bit of room to work with. You know, if they want to go super aggressive, they probably could do that too. We still got to extend Lamar Jackson. That's going to clear cap. We could always extend or restructure Roquan Smith and clear cap. The Ravens could definitely clear more cap if they wanted to go super aggressive. But if they stick to their normal philosophy, there's not a lot of open room on the roster right now. There's a couple holes for some veteran depth. Then I think they can find some value with some of those D tackles. There's also some older veteran linebackers that are out there. CJ Mosley is still out there. Now, I don't think he would be an every down linebacker for us by any means. I don't think that him and Roquan is the best linebacker duo to have out there for coverage situations. You know, I honestly believe that Teddy Buchanan can probably fill in better than that. But having a veteran presence like CJ Mosley and having a run defender like CJ Mosley next to Roquan Smith would shore up our run defense for sure. And we could have an early down linebacker in CJ Mosley. Or another vet name out there is Eric Kendricks. There's quite a bit of veteran inside linebackers still out there on the market. I would not be surprised if the Ravens go shopping for one of those, add depth and experience. Experience is the main thing here. We have some depth now. You know, we drafted Teddy Buchanan, signed Jake Hummels, still got Trenton Simpson, Roquan Smith, obviously, but there's not a lot of veteran leadership. We talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video, but if Trenton Simpson doesn't work out, I know a lot of people are saying Teddy Buchanan they think is going to start, but either way, we're super young, right? There's a risk to that. If the young guy's not ready, like we saw last year with Trenton Simpson, because a lot of people were high on Trenton Simpson last year when we got rid of Patrick Queen. They thought that he was just going to be an every down starter next to Roquan, and it just didn't work out like that. He ended up kind of losing his role to Malik Harrison and Chris Board. So we don't really know what Teddy Buchanan's going to bring, you know, right away or even this first year entirely. So I like a lot of his attributes. I think he could start, but there's injuries and there's just poor play that come into question that a veteran being in the room and a veteran there for depth that could step in and help if needed is important. And the next position group I could see the Ravens still adding to is corner. I know they signed Awuzie. That definitely is a veteran signing, but I still think that there's room to add more there because they didn't hit it hard in the draft. They got 2 6th-round rookie corners. You got Jalen Armour-Davis, and hopefully TJ Tampa takes a leap. I think his roster spot's safe. They're going to give him a chance. But regardless, it would not hurt to add another veteran corner to this room. You know, what if Awuzie still struggles with some injuries? What if his play is not where we want it to be? And what if TJ Tampa's not taking a leap from last year and isn't really ready to be an every down outside corner? Like, these are real questions that could definitely play out that way, and you don't want to have to throw in Jalen Armour-Davis or the 6th-round rookies. Like, you don't want that to be the other side of the ball, because look what happened last year with someone who we all thought was a solid corner, and Brandon Stevens was getting picked on. So you can't ever have enough corners. And if the Ravens have a couple injuries or things aren't working out as planned, then they're going to be pretty thin there. Obviously, we're safe with Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey. And I think if Awuzie is healthy, I think that he's going to be fine as well. And I really am high on TJ Tampa, but I'm not going to cement that until I see him out there in an NFL game consistently. You know what I mean? I'm high on his potential. I'm not high on his NFL game film. We haven't seen enough of it. It's too small of a sample size. So bringing in a veteran corner does make a lot of sense. And there's some corners still floating out there. Asante Samuel Jr., he's not an older vet, but he's an interesting name. I made a video a couple months ago asking why he's still available, and he's still available. So I know he's coming off injuries, but Asante Samuel Jr., does make some sense. He is a ball hawk. He can cover. I know he doesn't hit as much as the Ravens usually like, and that could be a reason they don't go that way. I just like Asante Samuel Jr.'s potential. I think that, he's not old. He's 26, so you might be able to get some life out of him if he can come back and stay healthy. So that's one name that I'm eyeing up. Rasul Douglas also makes some sense. Stephon Gilmore. I mean, these guys are older. They're definitely past their prime, but would add veteran depth. If Awuzie works out, then I think the Ravens are rolling with Awuzie as the opposite outside corner. And we're also going to be super versatile too, with having a Malachi Starks being able to drop deep now and free Kyle Hamilton up. Kyle can play some in the slot. Darius can play some in the slot. We may have to bump Marlon Humphrey out occasionally if there is an injury or something like that. So it's not like we can't move the defense around. We have a lot of versatile defenders in the secondary. So I'm not saying that we can't make it work the way it is, but it would not hurt to bring in a veteran corner and add some depth and safety to this room, because I think it is one of the rooms that could get thin pretty quick. But let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. What free agents are you eyeing up? Which ones make sense to you? What do you think about the Ravens bringing in another kicker and having a true battle this offseason? I appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The Flock Rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.